Welcome back, everybody, to the Insightful Podcast. Today is episode 27, and I'm here with a very special guest, Alex. Alex, how are you doing today?
What's up, brother? Dude, I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I love being on podcasts. So when you DM'd me, I was like, dude, yes, I'll be on it as soon as possible.
Yeah, I could tell by the enthusiasm in the DMs. I was very excited too, bro, because sometimes I'll try to get people on and they'll say yes, but like they're not really responsive, all these different types of things. But I could tell right away that you were very down to do it. So thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of people overthink podcasts. It's kind of scary for a lot of people. That's what I've
Hmm.
noticed hosting my own as well. The guests, they're like, oh, I got to think about doing this podcast. And the more you think, the worse you are at it, right? Because it's just flowing. So
Exactly. That was me for the longest time was getting on the podcast, getting a guest, being extremely nervous cuz I'm speaking to this new person and getting into it in the beginning, I'd like look at their followers and that would, mess with my mind like, "Oh, they probably know more than me. They probably do this." But at the end of the day, it's just a recorded conversation. Like this would be a conversation that we would have if we met each other, you know?
yeah, exactly. It's like that's why Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan because he just talks to people and it's genuine. It's genuine. It's not like this super structured, and there is some structure to podcasts, but it's not like this just one-sided interview. It's more of a free-flowing conversation of interest. So
Exactly. All right. Do you want to start by introducing yourself and kind of explaining what you do on social media?
yeah. So my name's Alex Karnev, and what I do on social media, yeah, it's changed a lot. I've been on social for about 10 years, or actually I've been on social for a lot longer, but I've been posting on social for about a decade. I started with hockey videos, and then fishing videos, and then self-improvement videos, and then social media growth videos, and now I've finally found my ground where I get to speak my truth and really help people with the root cause of things, which is somatic healing, the nervous system, subconscious rewiring, all to help them attract, right? All to help them with their authenticity. That's kind of like my rep on social now, is like I'm the authenticity guy. And the way in which I help people get there is going to the root, and like getting people to almost get out of the way, like have people's mind be used as a teammate versus an enemy, right? Or just like healing the nervous system, there's a lot of stored emotions in the body, so I help people with that. And with that, my clients get more influence, they get more expression, they get more free flowing abundance. And it's almost like the law of least effort. It's like
Hmm.
you don't have to be David Goggins to attract more influence. You just have to be you. Right? That's your biggest advantage. So that's what I help people with. And other than that, dude, like I'm still young. I know I'm on the journey. I know I want to do so many big things, like host workshops, have big communities, have like 20 plus active one-on-one clients at all times. But a lot of my journey as of late has been accepting and enjoying my youth versus coming at everything from a place of lack. So that's been the focus as of late.
Very well said. So, how did the process go, and how important would you say it was to like, because you were posting a bunch of different things before, like you said, the hockey, the self improvement. How important would you say you doing those things were so that you were able to find what you're doing now? Because a lot of people want the answer right away, but like that's not really how it works. So, how important was that to you? Just kind of discovering yourself.
Oh, dude, it took me so goddamn long to find my thing. Like they call it alignment. I felt unaligned for the first 9 years of posting on social. And yeah, it sucked, but it makes me so appreciative now. So that's why I do find it important to answer your question. And also, there's all these very funny little synchronicities that happen. Like when I start doing hockey videos, like the first videos I ever do, this is 10 years ago, and I'm using music, and I'm learning how to put music in the video, like right when I do something that I think is cool, and like I sync it up perfectly. That taught me a lot about editing different
Mm-hmm.
montages, editing different inspirational videos, just like stuff like that. And I guess I don't see myself as a great editor, but I am a lot better at editing than most people. And that would have never happened without the hockey videos and the fishing videos.
Exactly.
And yeah, so it is very important because the just like understanding social media for so like for a decade, it came from all of those like niches that I was in that weren't aligned. Like it made me really understand social media in so many different ways because I was always posting different things for different audiences. You know, using different tactics like stories, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. I've been on every platform. So now, when it comes to doing my thing, now I have all this experience, and it's not it's not like it's not new territory for me. I'm doing the same thing. The only difference is I'm expressing myself authentically,
I see.
and I'm excited to express myself authentically every day. Part of the reason I said yes to come on this podcast is like because I want to talk about what I love, because this alignment is there. It's like, yeah, I'll go on any podcast because I need to get it out, you know?
Yeah. So how old were you when you had the feeling, oh, I need to be on social media. I need to like show myself to the world in a sense. Because if you've been doing it for 10 years, like when did that start?
Yeah, so right now I'm pretty young, dude. I'm 21 right now and turning 22 this year, but a lot of people say I have like 26, 27-year-old energy, which I love. While also being a goofball. So, yeah, I started when I was like 10, 11, and I don't know when it I first got the thought, but I remember just seeing other people doing it and thinking it was so cool. And then I figured out that you can make money, you could have a living doing this. And then I figured out you could become a coach and like genuinely help people and like make a lot more money and have a lot more freedom and help a lot more people if you did it full time. So that's really what sparked the interest. But I remember this so clearly. I remember one time I was like 14, 15. I was doing social media for a couple of years, and I remember this one time that I was just thinking about different career paths I could do, and I was thinking about like crypto, or not crypto, sorry, drop shipping. I was thinking of zoologist. I was thinking of all these random things. And then when I got the idea to be an influencer, like I just got this idea and I was like, influencer.
You had like a great
Like,
feeling about it.
yeah, and yeah, I even said it that way. I was like, influencer, like from the heart, you know? And I remember that so vividly. And it was in that other room over there. But ever since then, I was like, damn, like that would be the best thing that I could do for a job. That'd be like my dream.
Yeah. So when you discovered that you wanted to pursue this passion of yours, was there people around you that like didn't believe in you, or were there people that were very supportive? Like how did that look like? Because I feel that maybe a lot of people don't like go down that path because of the opinions of others and what others are telling them to do. So how was
Yeah.
that for you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you hear about the word influencer, I don't even like that word because influencer is like it's such a bad. I feel like it's so like surface level when you think of an influencer. It's like you're making dumb videos online, or you're just trying to get views, or you're really fake. For me,
Yeah.
I feel like influencer should be changed to like impactor, or like changing the world, or like some kind of good thing, because that's what I'm doing and I'm a coach. So that approach has allowed a lot of support to come to me. But when it comes to like the logics of becoming an entrepreneur, for most people, it's like it's so illogical because it's so different than what they've been
Yeah.
conditioned to think, do, from my grandparents to my parents to other family members. It's like it's very risky for most people, right? And
Yeah.
it just like that's how they think, and they think, oh, everybody I know that's been an entrepreneur has sucked, has failed, has given up, has struggled. and you should never do that. So a lot of lack in the support system, to be honest, early on, until I started finding my people, until I started finding other entrepreneurs, other coaches, other creators doing the same exact thing. Then I was like, oh, I can do this. I can easily do this. And it's hard to change other people's belief system. So a lot of people still are not supportive and are still like, maybe they are supportive, but they don't really believe in it, which is totally fine. Like, I'm not asking you to change your whole reality because it's hard enough for me to change mine. So I can't
Yeah.
make you change yours. But yeah, man. So long answer to a short question. It's been much better as of late, much better as of late. And people know the world is changing. People know college is becoming more of a decision versus something you usually like you do all the time after high
Yeah.
school automatically. So yeah, like with time, the support system has definitely gotten better. But there's also been a lot of arguments when I dropped out of college and like quit my job and wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah, 100%. I believe too, it's a lot like you're saying about your environment because even for myself, people like question me all the time. But then when I started doing the podcast, started getting different types of guests on that are in the entrepreneurial like life, the people like I had a guy on and he has like a Lambo and like I know that's very surface level success, but he's telling me that I could do this and that I could achieve great things. But like the people that are around me are doubting me all the time, right? So it's definitely environment. And it's like you're saying, they didn't grow up with it. They don't understand that it's a really good opportunity to, achieve something. But yeah, I guess it's just environment. And you need to put yourself in environments where these people are trying to bring you up and actually believe in you, right? Because it's like you're saying, someone could say they believe in you, but do they really?
Yeah. 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 Exactly. It is the people too. And like, that's why there's so few Lambos is because, or like you see so few Lambos on the road is because in your town, people are like, yo, be safe, be low risk. And I think it's so funny, dude, because so many people don't even realize what life is. Like
Hmm.
we're humans. This is life. There's trees outside and everything's just labeled. Everything's normal. Everybody thinks we have it figured out. We have nothing figured out. So when you understand we have nothing figured out, you understand we can do anything. It's like,
Exactly.
even the school system, names, like none of these things are us. They're all things that we've made, and our mind just likes it because it knows it, right? But
Hmm.
that's what I really love, and what really makes me feel safe is like we have no idea what's going on, yet we can create literally anything. You could have $200,000 tomorrow, or you could be $200,000 in debt tomorrow. Like there's so
Yeah,
many different things that could happen, and people are just like the minds of people are so limited because they don't want to go into the unknown. And entrepreneurship is a lot of uncertainty, unknown, and just being willing to be different. And it's hard, but it's people that are wired for entrepreneurship are leaders.
exactly. Yeah. So perfect. My next question kind of like sways into what we were just speaking about. And that's, you mentioned one of your reels about how to like rewire your subconscious mind. What does this process look like? And can you explain your specific mindset like before the rewiring? Like, did you think a different way? And then you intentionally like rewired your subconscious mind? And like, how were you before that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for the subconscious rewiring, it's been an amazing journey. And for me, what I started with was actually prosperity and money abundance. So for the rewiring process, I got it from Marilyn Jeanette in Feel Free to Prosper. It's actually one of my recent mentors who recommended this book to me and to start with this lesson to attract more prosperity. And I love her. I love her process, and I love the way in which she sees it all. It aligns with me, so I wanted to give it a try. And I actually have it listed out right here, just so I can speak it to you. There's 6 steps, and I tell you, for a long time I've been doing all 6. Now Number one, for this example, we'll use money, right? So number one is no negative statements about money,
Okay.
right? And for context, the way we rewire the subconscious is by consciously changing everything that we do, everything that we think about, because consciously is the only way that we can change the subconscious, because it's just like you're just downloading, right? The subconscious is the folder, the conscious mind is the thing downloading everything. So you can't rewrite the past, but the only thing that you can do is change what you're doing now. So consciously, no negative statements about money. That's number one. Number two
Okay.
is only positive statements about money, right? So if you can't afford something, you don't go, yeah, I don't have any money. You go, my budget is a little bit tight at the moment. I'll buy this. I'll buy this thing when my budget spreads out a little bit. Like completely different reframe.
I see.
Number three is affirmations to be written down 25 times every single day. And you could either do it in the morning or at night when your brain is in the most susceptible. Um, is it wavelengths? Yeah, I think it's the wavelengths in your brain, which is theta. Means that consciously, when you write these things down, when you put thought into action, it hits deeper in the subconscious, either in the morning or at night. So write affirmations 25 times daily. The fourth one is repeating these affirmations several times daily as well. So an example of this is something you could write down would be uh, 25 times a day would be like, I accept prosperity as my divine right, and I'm prepared to increase my income now. You write that 25 times, and then like throughout the day, you could say, I'm receiving. I'm receiving now. I'm receiving all of the wealth that the universe has for me now. Right? Or even just repeating to yourself, wealth, success,
Mm-hmm.
wealth, success, wealth, success. Right? The second last thing would be during exercises to also repeat these affirmations. Because during exercise, you're moving a lot. I'm not sure the science behind it and like why it gets deeper, but because you're moving your body, the affirmations also get deeper in the subconscious that way. So repeating during exercise, during walking, during singing. And the last thing is to have a gratitude bank for unexpected income sources daily, right? So at the end of every day, you look at this notepad that you made for yourself and you say, I didn't expect this $48 to come in today, or nothing came in today, but I'm grateful that I didn't have to spend this today, or like just gratitude for what you have and what you're getting, and repeating that every day. So why this works is because when you show gratitude, when you show the feeling of appreciation, or the feeling of abundance for something, like not needing that clinginess to it, the universe sees it in abundance, so it gives you more of it, right? It gives you more, gives you more, gives you more. This happens with love. If you have a very loving family, there's love everywhere because it's abundant. The universe just keeps recycling it and giving it to you. Now, for the subconscious rewiring, it takes a long time. It's not like a magic pill and you do this for a week and you're good. But it is something that takes a lot of focus and a lot of time. So usually for this process, what I do with my clients, I do the same process, but geared a lot more towards influence. And there's a couple more pieces I didn't touch on. But with that, usually it takes a month before you start getting thoughts about the good versus doubtful thoughts, and
Mm-hmm.
thoughts bringing you down, and like naturally you start thinking and doing better.
Yeah. Wow, that's good because like this is like a whole new concept even for myself. Like I don't know about the listeners, but even for myself, I've never like learned about rewiring your subconscious mind. And a lot of it is like what you're saying is like basically kind of changing your perception, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
people will like have such a bad perception of like their own life. So like do you think like I guess I don't know if happiness is the word, but do you think you could automatically not automatically but kind of change your happiness or whatever the case may be if you start to change your perception on things?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because there's always a fact, right? Like if like what's a good example of a fact? Let's say a fact is you need to make $100, right? let's say like you need to make $100. The
Hmm.
fact is the $100 that you need, right? That's the fact. You can feel however you want about it, but like you said, your perception changes that thing. So you need to change your focus of the fact, right? So when you change your focus on the fact, you can either feel needy, I need $100, or you can do the right thing, which is anticipate, right? You know what anticipation is? Like in sports, you anticipate a play happening, you cut it, you intercept a pass. When you anticipate, you're getting ready for that thing to happen, right?
Because you already believe it's going to happen.
Exactly. And it's hard to try to believe. It's hard to just believe in things, but it's easier to anticipate in things by focusing on the fact that the fact is happening. So what happens is you focus on anticipation. So you get ready for the thing, you prepare for the thing, the universe sees you're preparing, it gives it to you. That causes, or even just the focus causes a feeling of wanting to get ready. That feeling causes action, then that action causes power, right? And gets you that thing. So yes, 100%. It's the focus of the fact, not the fact itself. You know?
I see. So people that are in a tough situation, sometimes their mind is spiraling, thinking about, like you said, oh, I need to make $100. I need to make $100. And during that whole time, you're not actually like you said, anticipating you receiving it or even trying to find a way to make it happen. And I feel like a lot of people do that. They focus on that thing that they need, but they're not even focusing on how to achieve it or how to receive it when it does come. So I think that's very well said. That's a very good concept.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's like another thing people can do is reframe, like say you need to pay off your credit card, like you desperately need, or like let's say you need $1,000 by the end of the month, right? And you start getting doubtful thoughts, which most people do. How am I going to make $1,000 at the end of this month? I don't know. What am I going to say to my landlord because I can't even pay my rent? What am I going to do when the credit piles up? All these thoughts are great, right? They're a survival mechanism. Like, don't hate them. Don't try to push them away. They're helping you, but they're not serving you in any way,
Yep.
right? They're not serving you. So what you can do is immediately reframe. Okay, what if I did pay that off? What if I made 10 times more than that? Okay, what can I do right now to make that happen? And then you take action. And then you anticipate, what can I do right now to make 10K by the end of the month? Okay, cool. How would it feel to make 10K at the end of the month? It would feel fucking good. What can I do right now to get me there? Right.
Yeah.
And then you reframe into action, right? Because when people get in these negative spirals, it wastes time. Or I don't even believe in time, to be honest. I believe in moments, but it wastes a lot of moments where you could be doing something to help you, and you could be doing something to just zoom out. You could just understand, yo, I'm living life, like goddamn, I'm grateful. I was watching Stranger Things 4 again. I'm like, goddamn, I'm so grateful there's no demogorgons outside. Like I can just live life, you know?
Yeah. Not have to worry about getting eaten.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, based on like your kind of mindset, from my understanding of the short amount of time we've talked already, is I want to ask you: do you believe in luck, or do you believe in creating your own luck?
Yeah, that's a very deep question actually, because that goes that goes so deep to the point where you're asking like, are we creating everything, or is everything happening to us? Right? There's a
Hmm.
great quote from Alan Watts. And your question, like it makes me think of this quote about breathing, right? Because when we breathe, we do it, but it also happens to us, right?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I think it's both. And I'm going to find the quote right here. Yeah. So the curious thing about breathing is it's both voluntary and involuntary action. You can feel on the one hand, I am doing it, and on the other hand, it is happening to me. So what we do on the one hand and what happens to us on the other is arbitrary. Am I just the puppet of this happening? or am I really doing everything that's going along? Both are true. Everything is happening to you, and you are doing everything. Our senses are turning energy and frequency into sensory experience. So I don't even know how to answer your question, but yes, it's like I think it's both. I
You think
really
it's
do.
both, eh?
I really do think it's both because we are creators and we're also being guided by a creator. It's not one or the other, and I don't even think the mind can understand how it can be both. But just going back to the breathing and the lungs, like we're both doing it, and it's happening to us. So I think it's both at the same time.
Yeah, so there isn't no exact answer. It's like more of a gray area answer.
Yeah, exactly. But like 100%, I do believe in luck. And I also do believe I'm creating my own luck, right? I do
Exactly.
believe I'm creating everything around me. And I do believe I'm getting a lot of guidance and understanding that even the things that I'm not creating, they're happening for a reason.
Yeah. Were you always this spiritual, or was it something you kind of developed over time?
Hmm, good question, dude. I definitely the last year, like probably the last 3, 4 years, five, no, five, 2024, probably the last 3, 4 years. Yeah, I've been much more spiritual, and I feel like I'm getting more and more and more spiritual every day. And the reason for that is because I like how science can back up a lot of the cool things like the quantum field, Joe Dispenza's work in the creation of reality on the subatomic level. And yeah, dude, I find spirituality to align the most because it's everything. And I don't even like zodiac signs. I used to be like, oh, that's so dumb, right? And then I'm looking to I do breathwork meditations. I'm a breathwork coach in a way. It's the facet in which I help my clients. And then I look at my zodiac sign. I'm an air sign. I'm like, what the fuck? That's kind of crazy how that works.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, it just seems to keep having synchronicities and aligning. So I would say like just every day it's getting more and more. Um, I'm just getting closer to it every day, just naturally.
Do you think it's a very important aspect of improving your life? Like, if that's becoming more spiritual or believing in a god or being more religious, do you think it's another important aspect of like improving yourself?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Like I think I think David Goggins is great. I think like all these self improvement coaches or mentors, like they're all great. Spirituality makes it awesome. Like
Mm-hmm.
spirituality makes self improvement so free flowing, and like self improvement, it's an amazing thing. It's just the mind gets obsessed to the point where you can't be grateful for now, for this moment. And
Yes.
now is all we have. So it's like you get down on yourself. Oh, I need to fucking read today. I didn't read my 15 pages, or like I did 75 hard. I don't know if you did it, but it's
I'm
like
in the process of doing it right now, actually.
yeah, so it's like challenges like that are great, but the journey beyond those challenges and self improvement, it can actually get super dark because then it's just you feel so much guilt and shame for just wanting to do what you want to do, and humans have one motivator is feeling. They just do what they feel like doing. So when you're constantly going through things, constantly being disciplined, constantly doing things you don't feel like doing, yes, it'll help you self improve, but like why are you doing that? Like is it bringing you joy? Are the results bringing you joy? Because for me, dude, like I used to be so goddamn disciplined to the point where I would wake up in the morning and everything that I was doing that day I knew I didn't really want to do, but I was like I have to be disciplined, I have to self improve, until I realized, I don't have to do these things. Maybe I should, this is where you get into spirituality. Maybe I should just listen to my heart, get quiet, not identify with everything this thing is saying. And then, okay,
Mm-hmm.
what do I actually want to do? How can I actually help people? Because you can't come at everything from a place of productivity. And I think that's what self improvement does, especially for creation, for going deep into yourself. Like you can't create content from a place of productivity unless it's just going to be like super edited, super fake, right? When it comes to authenticity, when it comes to artistry, every artist gets quiet. They are a channel for God to express himself through. They're not just like doing it for a means to an end, you know?
I see. That's very true, bro, because I make content for like a personal page and that's like more derives from fitness, self-improvement. It's not a podcast, right? And yesterday I was trying to come up with ideas for it and I came from a place of, okay, from 3 to 4 o'clock, I'm going to work on content ideas. And by the time it was 4 o'clock, I had no ideas because I was forcing myself to be creative and not in a moment maybe earlier in the day where I was creative and I was doing something else because that's what I was supposed to do. So I could totally see that, bro. Sometimes you just got to kind of adapt, I guess.
Yeah, man. And that's like really why it took me so long to find my thing, is because I wasn't quiet. I wasn't listening to my heart, which is its own freaking brain. Like the heart can do more than the brain can do, right? Our bodies are incredible. And when we listen to our bodies, that's when we can tap into like incredible things, dude. Incredible things. And we can attract, we can create, right? We can, like the mic drops. When someone's public speaking, they're not thinking about what they're saying. A lot of it is free flowing and it's
Yeah.
from the heart, right? Something that everyone can do listening right now, something I've been doing for content specifically, small tip, but when you're creating content, be fucking present and feel the vibration in your chest when you're speaking. It'll make everything flow. It'll seem much more genuine. You won't be like, this is how you can do this. And it's like, no, speak from the heart, feel the vibration in your heart, in your feet, everywhere. And there's more meaning behind it. There's like, that's how you genuinely change people's lives.
Yeah. So I assume there's zero scripting when it comes to making your content. You kind of just turn the camera on and start talking.
Oh yeah, the scripting, I've tried it. It sucks. I don't even like filming in here because I'm I have an intention to film a video. You know, for me, I struggled with
Yes.
authenticity for a very long time, and I'm still working through it. Like I've gotten so much better, and I'm like incredibly blessed to speak from the heart now and like do podcasts like this with you. But there's still patterns inside of me that when I turn the camera on, especially in here, I'm not capturing a moment. It feels like I'm artificially creating something versus if I'm like, yeah, I need to share this. I turn the camera on and I speak. But a lot of the time, dude, I think the best creators are the ones who just film with their phone while they're doing something amazing, while they're doing the things they already do, and they feel called to share something they want to share, right? Not like,
Yeah.
I need to post today. Turn the camera on, make sure I'm centered, make sure I'm saying the right thing. Like that is, it was just so dark for me doing that. So I would say like I'm 99% free flowing, but there's that 1% when I'm not in tune with my heart, with myself, that sometimes I turn on the camera and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Why am I like worried about what I'm gonna say? This is weird. And then I'll drop in, I'll turn the camera off, I'll go do something. Like, oh, that's why I was thinking too much.
Yeah. So you'll kind of like drop it and come back to it later, not force it.
Yeah, I mean, even later is a stretch too, because usually it like takes me a couple seconds now to tap back in and like to relax. And it's all like what I said, dude, it's all the body. Like
Yeah.
we all think it's like if you talk to someone a lot of the time and like you're tense and there's pressure and like you don't feel like it's authentic. If we actually dive into that, a lot of the time it's because you have muscles that are contracted unconsciously, you know? And what that is you're trying to put on a performance and like your legs are tensing up a little bit or your back is like there's some muscles in your abs or your back that are a little tense. So it can't flow. There's energy blockages there, right? That's literally all it is. And it goes back to the importance of the body and the breath work I do to release those energy blockages. And the more you release, the more space you have to just flow, right?
For sure.
And not just on camera, like to flow in life, you know, flow in life. And then when you turn on the camera, nothing changes.
Yeah. That's actually my next question for you. Is like, why do you think so many people are like unauthentic nowadays? Why do you think it's like kind of more of a normal thing to be unauthentic than it is to be authentic? Even myself, I struggle with it. If I'm meeting a group of new people, I am usually not who I really am. Like, I might be saying the right things, but is it really what I want to say in that current moment? So, why do you think that is?
Yeah, why are people not authentic? For me, it's definitely like conditioning of some sort. So for me, I was a very like quiet kid, but for a reason, because when I would act a little crazy, I'd be shut down and told like, "Hey, don't do that. You look like a retard," or like I don't know. There's different conditions that made me very quiet as a kid. I think for most people though, it's the conditioning of their parents, their teachers, and the pressure of being good enough. Like a lot of it, I think, is worthiness. They don't think
Hmm.
that if they are their most authentic self, that they are worthy, and that's something that, like, deep down, I had to do some very deep inner work for worthiness, and I still am. I just want to be honest. Like, I'm still working through so many different things, and I don't think anybody is honest when they say, like, yeah, I got the Lambo, I got the money, like everything is good. No, everybody's always working through something,
Yeah.
and you can still be a coach. You can still serve so many people. Tony Robbins is still working on things. So I just want to preface this with that, and also say that there's just way too much identification with the mind. Like, that's why people are not authentic, is because the unconscious muscles are contracted, and they believe everything the mind is saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I did not know anything about authenticity, any of the work I do, and I jumped on this podcast with you, I bet I would be like this. I would be like up here, I'd be tense. My hands, I would be like, what do I do with my hands? And I would try to just like maintain a perfect frame the entire podcast, because there's a sense of worthiness there, and there's a sense of conditioning that parents, teachers, friends, and actually social media has now, that you need to be good enough. You need to only share what's great. You need to only post what's really well edited. So I think that's what it is. But people just listen to the voice in their head too much. People need to do some psychedelics. I don't want to talk about that, but like, people do. um,
Yeah.
and Yeah, I think the environment too, because so many people are in that space, it's normalized. It's just normalized. And that's why it was so hard for me to find this as well, is because nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is helping people with
Exactly.
authenticity. The closest thing I found was my mentor I have now, Jake Wan. Shout out to you, dude. You've changed everything for me. He helps you with authenticity, but like not video related, not really like camera related or creation or influence related, just by doing the deep work, by just removing energy blockages. So when I found him, I was like, oh shit, this is what people need. So it's like just doing the deep work within themselves to release those energy blockages that are there, because that is what's stopping them, the mind, but it's also the body.
Yeah. And your mentor now, I assume what he's teaching you is like transferable to any avenue of life, right? When it comes to authenticity.
Oh yeah, dude. It's just like, yo, I'll like, I'm gonna make you your most authentic expression, paired up with like spirituality and presence. And it's really just going deep into thyself. Like, it really is. Like, the parts of you that you're scared of, that make you nervous, that make you cry, that make you like rage, all of those parts, going deep into those, and making your body a temple of safety. Right, like the body is everything, dude. I keep repeating that, but it needs to be emphasized. Like, the body is so goddamn smart. It's so much smart. It knows everything, and it's like, we think the brain is like the number one tool in the universe, and I used to think it was too. I used to even preach it, but I think the heart and the body are the thing that tap into the infinite intelligence, the quantum field. Like, everything that we attract, everything that we want, our authenticity doesn't come from our mind. It comes from our body. It comes from our heart, from our soul. Our soul is more in tune with the heart. Yeah, it's all in the body.
Yeah. So I assume that you've kind of already, at least in this current moment, have found your purpose to like what you need to do, what you need to do when you wake up. So how does someone begin to look or discover their purpose when they have so many other things going on in their life? Because I feel that's the reason why people never discover what they're meant to do is because they got their job, they got family, they got responsibilities, and there's never any time to just sit down and think like, what am I meant to do here? So how can someone start to do that if they're so busy?
I feel like it's a. I really do think people like you either have it or you don't. You know, like
You think so, eh?
I really do, man. I really think like just some souls are more evolved. Some souls are just meant to lead other people, and some people are just meant to not do much, right? And to be entirely content with their family. Like, not everybody needs to be this incredibly divine, masculine, powerful creator. We are all that, but like for a lot of people, I really do believe it may be in another lifetime because like they just don't have the it factor, you know? And that it factor is like when you watch a motivational video. For me, that's the thing that sparked this whole thing was like it hits you so deep that you're like, oh shit, like what am I gonna do with this life?
Yeah.
You know, or you listen to a song and it hits so deep that you're like, oh shit, like this is incredible. Or like you watch a movie and it's just like different
Yeah.
things just
Yeah.
hit you so much harder to the point where you you almost know you have like a more sensitive antenna to be a leader than most people. Like other people would listen to a motivational video and be like, "Oh, that's cool," you know, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I get it. That's cool." And yeah, it's like some people are just numb to
Being
life.
inspired in a way too.
Yeah, it's like being inspired, or people are numb to like what life actually is. It's like it all goes to consciousness, right? Like the level of consciousness you have. Not that entrepreneurs are more conscious than most people, but leaders and people that understand life and that aren't like I don't like the term NPCs, but like there's some NPCs, and some NPCs don't have the ability to understand what life really is, you know, and like to question things and like to do their own research and like make their own opinions and lead and want to change. Yeah, I think how can someone get into it is if you're watching this podcast, it's like maybe be honest with yourself. Like, is this conversation hitting deep? Is this what when I watch movies, when I do things, like do they make me feel a certain way, like a fire inside of me, or kind of like a spark that I need to do something in this life. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what needs to be looked for. And if that's there, then you probably have the it factor, you know?
Yeah. So it's kind of discovering if you even have the capacity to go down this path in a way.
Yeah, dude, it's this weird. I've noticed it's very weird. Some people are just so content with where they're at, then they don't desire to like live the most epic life possible. Like some people are entirely content with where they're at and they want to live that way, but other people are not. And other people desire to live like the most epic life ever. And a lot of that is the leaders, is the people that want to say, okay, I'm in this world. Let me do some crazy shit here. You know,
Yeah.
other
While
people
I'm
are like,
here,
nah.
while it lasts.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, nah, I just want to have my hot chocolate and watch my show. It's like, okay, I accept you. Great. I'm going to go do my thing, you know?
Yeah. It's so true, bro. Because I know we've mentioned it a couple times, but it's like David Goggins. When I listened to his book, his first one, I remember like thinking the impact it had on me. Not even just about the discipline and stuff. It's the fact that the situation he came from, everything was against him. Like he shouldn't have became successful like he did, and he found a way to do that. And other people have heard his story and they forget about it a day later. But even that still like impacts me to this day, because I'll say to myself, hey, he was able to push past all the pain, push past all the trials, tribulations, and make something of himself. What's the difference between him and me? And he came from a much harsher situation than I am. So why can't I do it? And I feel like a lot of people don't think like that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where he gets like that discipline from and that grit from, is because he needed it in his situation. But like, yeah, a lot of people don't need that type of grit and type of discipline. But I mean, yeah, it's so inspiring. I love him because he's like an example of what's possible, of what's possible under the worst possible circumstance. But it's like, it's not the same advice you can give anybody who are in better circumstances, who can free flow. And like, I don't know. There's been a lot of David Goggins that's just so inspiring, but a lot of his, it's like, okay, once you get that,
Hmm.
now what? It's like, you don't have to stay this hard grit, disciplined dude. I mean, it got you so far, so of course you love it, but like, it's not for everybody. It's like the
Yeah.
law of least effort. You can attract more. This is where the law of attraction comes in, and like the body's intelligence. You attract more when you see it as abundant, right? When you free flow, when you listen to your heart, when you're always in that fight or flight, disciplined, take over the world, get up, run however many miles. It's like you're not consciously giving yourself time to enjoy all that you have, which is here and now.
Yeah. So do you think it's very important to kind of like not attach yourself to certain concepts or certain things? Because it's like you're saying, maybe someone like him, I can't speak for him, but if he doesn't have that mindset, who would he be? Because he's attached like so much of his personality to that. And it's just like, for example, people that build a good physique in the gym and they don't do any internal work or any other work on themselves, that if they happen to lose all their muscle, their identity is gone. So how important would you say is like not attaching yourself to things and just being like free flowing?
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Unidentification is everything, yet it's needed, right? Like, it is needed because it's almost like your spirit fuses to your ego when you think of your higher self, right? And like, you want to inspire people, you want to be this badass dude, this dude with swagger, this leader, yet being that leader, you want to unidentify. So it's like, if you think of your higher self right now, the success they have, the relationships they have, the friends, the different types of outings they have, it's like the spiritual or type of way they're living life. It's all great. It's all amazing. And it's also an identity that you're thinking of right now. But that identity is unidentified. So when you think of your higher self, you think of this really cool dude, but that dude understands that he is not all of those things. You could take all of those things away from him and he'd be completely fine. Like,
Hmm.
I recently got a haircut the other day, and I permed my hair for like 2 years, I think. And like, yeah, I permed my hair, and then I noticed one day at the gym, I was always just looking at how it looked, if it looked good, and I was like, yo, I'm done with this. I hate how much I'm looking at it, and like, this sense of identity was there, and it was so attached because it looked way better than when it was straight a while ago. And the other day I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cut it all off and like just go straight again, and like embrace that shit. Even if I hate it for a bit, just see where it goes, see how I like it, and not identify with all of these things that I have. I even like, I used to have like all these chains and like bracelets and stuff, and they're nice. I want to be very minimalist. Might have a chain on or something, but I'm like, yeah, but I don't need those things. I don't even need hair. I don't need to
Yeah.
have huge muscles. Like, I am still the same, right? I'm still the same. I'm still the same worth. Everybody may not perceive me in that way because of societal conditions. That's okay, right? Why if I don't listen to other people's judgments and their fearful mind, why would I listen to anyone, right? Why would I listen to them, right? So I think it's just trusting yourself. And yeah, it's this is where spirituality kind of comes into self improvement. That unidentification is everything, because you're you're not needing anything. You seek nothing, so everything comes to you. You
Yeah,
know.
you just are.
Yeah. And then going back to the law of attraction, because you seek nothing, the universe sees it in abundance, so you get everything. By stop
Y-
trying so hard to like maintain the self image to get the things that you want, when you stop trying, you get it, right?
Yeah. And I guess based on your own personal experience, you don't have to dive too deep into it, but what were the results like before you had this mindset and after? Were they like night and day?
Um, yeah, dude, like the difference in the results. Are you talking about the results, or are you talking about like the difference in mindset?
I would say the results, like before you had the idea of abundance and all these things, how were the results then? And then once you developed this idea of abundance, how are the results now?
Okay, I see. Yeah, so the results actually, yeah, the results have changed. I and like the external results have come and they've been great, but those are not even the ones I'm proud of. Like the biggest result that I'm proud of is like I've landed, like I don't care about the money. I mean, it would be great. I want to do very big things with the business, but the biggest result that was like night and day, and especially I would say April through from the beginning of April to the end of June was like the most transformative 2 months of my life. The results were night and day from April to June, and in the fact that I was very identified with my mind. There was completely different mindset shifts, and at the end of June, I was entirely content with where I'm at, with who I am, with the present moment. And that's like the biggest result was just peace of mind, peace of heart, knowing that I have all the time in the world because I have all the time that there is, which is now. Like that's
Hmm.
been the biggest thing, dude. And from there, everything else, every external thing I could ever want has changed. Every relationship, every kind of like interaction I've had, I've always wanted to be a light. I've always wanted to make someone's day better. I never felt like I could until these transformative results internally have happened through the work I've done, subconscious rewiring and the breath work and going inside with the nervous system. And those have allowed me to get everything else. So I'm most grateful for just the peace of mind and being able to be here now. Like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's very well said. I really like that. I have all the time in the world because the only time I have is now. That's amazing, bro.
Yeah. You have all the time that there is, which is now.
Hmm.
Like, time,
Yeah.
time is something I don't have any alarm clocks in my room. I don't have any mirrors because I identification with self and knowing what time it is always gets you thinking of what's ahead or what's behind. And it's like, okay, you don't need that because you have this is all that exists now. Like this is the only thing in my reality that's existing is me talking to you, Anthony. That's it. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying it, right? So like I think and like then we can even talk more about like living in flow and like flow state and presence also has is a mechanism in which I help my clients through for just speaking authentically to the camera and just in life. But like when you're present, you're not stumbling on words, you're not trying to say anything in a certain way, you're just saying it as it is, you're saying it now.
Hmm.
And it comes out much more beautiful that way. So presence is the reason that the presence is the reason that authenticity is hard to come by because people aren't present.
Yeah. And what are some small, I guess, adjustments people can make to their life that can allow them to be more present? Like not scrolling on the phone. Do you have like any other examples?
Yeah. So I think the number one thing anybody can do is just be very intentional with your consumption. It's actually incredible how shit I feel when I eat bad food now because I've been eating healthy for a long time. And don't be a dopamine slave. This is the first thing. All right. Be intentional with everything that you put in your body. Everything. All right. And what I mean by this is everything that you put in your body and everything that you put in your mind. So, what this means is if you're on Instagram, right? What I recommend doing, even as a creator, I don't have social media, right? It's weird, but it's true. So I capture moments on my phone, and then I don't have social media on my phone. I have a backup phone that I have social media, so I just post on there, and the files. Like if I take a photo, it's in this phone's photos. So I don't get caught mindlessly scrolling bullshit and putting shit in my brain that I don't need to be consuming. So that's the first thing is don't scroll on social media. Just get off your phone as well. Don't have apps to give you a reason to be on your phone. Like if you look at my phone, dude, my phone, this is my thing. It's just quotes.
Yeah, the
Just
widgets are all
quotes.
quotes. That's sick.
And then the next thing is 4 apps and the weather. And then the next thing, I won't even want to take this off, but like only,
That's all creative stuff.
yeah, it's just like creative stuff. I have Google and I have Calendar. That's it. And I have like music. And I also, another thing you can do, if you want to create on TikTok, because it's a great app to create on, don't get TikTok, get TikTok Studio down here. And what that allows you to do is create on TikTok and not have to scroll through a bunch of bullshit.
I
So,
didn't even know that existed.
me neither. I just found it like the
Yeah,
other
I
day.
definitely got to get that.
So that is the first thing. I know it's hard to eat healthy and like we don't even know what's healthy anymore. Don't eat seed oils. Don't like just eat healthy food and don't be a dopamine slave to the point where when you eat food, it triggers dopamine so much so that your brain wants another hit of dopamine, right?
Hmm.
When you don't have all the apps, when you eat healthy, you're not like, okay, what can I consume? You're like, okay, what can I create? What can I do? What can I do to move the needle? When you're eating shit, when you're consuming shit, you just want to do more of that, right? That's all you want to do. You don't want to create anything. So that's the first thing. The other thing is I have a list of guided meditations specifically for authenticity, for getting deep into the meditative state. There's breathwork sessions there, and I actually just finished one called Accepting Authenticity. I can actually send it to you if you want. But
Okay.
I would do like a daily practice, Tony Robbins priming, breath work, meditation, anything like do a daily practice. And it may take some discipline early on, but now, like if I don't do my daily practice, I know that I am not operating at the same level in which that if I would. Right. So that's super important. And yeah, just get clear on the vision. I think get clear on the vision, like pay some mentors who are just a little bit ahead of you, like 30-40% ahead of you, and just trust yourself. Like trust the universe, trust God, trust yourself, trust everything, because we're a crazy world, and nobody knows what's going on, and we can attract everything we want. So I would say those three things.
For sure. Very well said. A good way to cap it off. So I have this last question that I ask every single guest, and you're no different. So, Alex, how do you want to be remembered?
Great question, dude. Great question. How do I want to be remembered? Actually, I haven't even thought of this before.
Yeah, it's okay, bro. Take your time.
See, here's an example of like what someone should do when they turn on the camera is like just go within and see what comes through. Don't try to force anything. So I'm going to do that now. Yeah. So I want to be remembered as a light, that helps people see who they are and helps people see their true authenticity, which is not something to go get, but it's something to awaken. And it's everybody's true nature, right? It's not about getting something that you don't have. It's about getting rid of the things in the way of what you have. Getting people to fully express is how I want to be remembered, and really just opening people's mind to the crazy world that we live in and how you can literally do anything, because through this life is just, we all have a soul within us, and God just wants to experience more of himself, but he can only do it one at a time in each individual person,
Hmm.
right? So I want people to understand that, and I want people to remember me as someone who's allowed them to awaken, someone who's allowed them to experience life not on the surface but on the deep end.
Yeah. Very, very noble answer, bro. And it's a very noble pursuit that I think if you do go down that path, which you obviously are, there will be no regret within you, you know? And I think that's the most important thing is having no regrets.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it all. You can do anything. Just do everything. Do it all. And also, in that meditation I just made today regarding accepting authenticity, a lot of it as well is accepting youth and just like understanding, yo, you're young, enjoy this shit. Like, yeah, I know you
Yeah,
want to get this as entrepreneurs. We always want to get new things, but like youth, enjoy that shit, right? You can only be a kid, a teenager, a 20-year-old once, right? So enjoy it, right? And it comes back to here and now. It always comes back to here and now.
yeah. It's what they say, right? Like this is the youngest you'll ever be, and tomorrow it's going to be the same thing. The day after that, same thing. You're always the youngest you'll ever be, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. You exactly, dude. You're just young. Even if when you're 28, 32, 45, like you're young. You're still young.
Yeah,
Enjoy right now. Even your age is made up, right? Enjoy now.
exactly. I think this is a good place to close it out. You had a lot of great advice, Alex, and I thank you for being on the podcast. I personally am going to watch this back and try to take the advice you gave and apply it to my own life. So thank you once again for being on. And if you could stay after the podcast to discuss some things, but I'm going to close it out here. Thank you guys for watching the Insightful Podcast. This has been episode 27. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Spotify, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.